Yeah, is this working? Yeah. What's going on? Oh my God, I've been gone for a little bit. What's going on, boo boos? Yeah, so your boy Persuadable kind of had lost his shit and lost his mind for a little bit. Had to gather my life together, and yeah, we good now. What's going on? I've been gone for a week. I hope you guys didn't burn down the whole damn community. So, man, I have missed y'all. Y'all mad beautiful. Ooh, it feels good to be back. We have some things that I want to talk about. And we're gonna get back. We're gonna avoid all the emotional garbage because we've already been dealing with that for a couple of weeks now, right? So long story short, right? I was burnt out, was working way too much, had a whole bunch of anxiety attacks, and I was like, "Yo, I'm not going to Thailand. I'm not doing anything. I need to rest." My doctor was like, "Yo, just chill. Like, do nothing with your life. Like for the next week, just chill." And I was like, "This is the only time my doctor will probably ever tell me to be lazy." So I was like, I'm gonna take this opportunity to just watch anime. Yo, for the record, I watched all of Demon Slayer. I watched 100 episodes of Black Clover. Absolutely enjoyed that anime, and just spent a whole crap load of time with my girlfriend. Yo, here's a funny story though. Hold up, y'all need to hear this out. During my anxiety attack, I accidentally threw my phone, right? Because I couldn't breathe. Like I couldn't breathe. So I panicked. I threw my phone. I broke my iPhone 10. So I went to the Verizon store and I got a brand new Galaxy Note 10. And then I realized, shit, I don't know how to use this. I don't know how to make videos. I don't know how to do anything. So then on top of that, I had to get an iPad Air or iPad Air, whatever. So that's coming in so I can still like do my Identity 5 stuff in there. And so it's been just a crazy week. So I broke my phone. I lost my mind. I feel good now. And I was like, yeah, I don't feel like hiding it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like hiding this from anyone. I was like, yo, I'm going to just chill. I'm going to be on. But during the tournament, I was with AO. I was helping Coach AO a little bit during the tournament because, yeah, they did a really good job. As you guys know, I got Call Me Duty in AO. I recruited him to AO. Call Me Duty is my really, really close. He's like my little brother. And it took me like 2 months to get him to join AO. And I'm like, man, like we got to get you in here. And he was just holding himself back. He was so nervous about doing bad that he literally held himself back from competitions. And I'm like, dude, I was like, you're like my little brother, man. I was like, I'm telling you right now, I know that I don't rank as much because I have a real life career and stuff. But guys, rank doesn't mean anything to me anymore. It just doesn't mean anything. When we go in 5v5 and we're playing against these top 10 hunters, when I go against the number one Dream Witch and I'm 2 cipher kiting them in the beginning of the match with a mind's eye, I still feel pretty comfortable with my kiting. And I'm like, dude, you're a good hunter. Like, you give me a problem. Like, you're a good hunter. Like, whenever I face you, whenever we're going in custom matches, it's difficult. So I got Call Me Duty to finally join Team AO. Roxon needed a little bit of help because Roxon, you got to remember, guys, as a hunter, this game can be very tiring and frustrating sometimes. That's why you see a lot of top-tier hunters like Sprinter and Blue Race Car playing Survivor all the time. Playing Hunter nonstop is tiring. So I was like, we need another hunter so Roxon can take a break. And, yeah, so Duty did an amazing job. Yeah, Duty did an amazing job. I'm so proud of him. I'm so glad that he didn't hold himself back, which is super, super important. I think that's really, really important. Actually, I think I want to show you guys something real quick. We're gonna be going over a few things here, so just bear with me for a second. I hope you guys have all been healthy. Remember that there are going to be moments in your lives where you just are going to lose your shit, and that's okay. You're allowed to take a break for a little bit, collect yourself, and come back, which is pretty dope. We have a bunch of projects coming up. I don't want to focus too much of my time in rank mode anymore. I want to focus on not only expanding Persuadable. I feel like I'm kind of stuck in a bubble here with Identity 5, and I'm preventing myself from doing the things that I would find very, very enjoyable. Can you guys hear me? I want to see some of the comments, man. I know you guys. I love you all. I see the comments. I saw the support during the tournament. I appreciated that. I'm not really sure if I'm not speaking. I'm not really sure if I'm going to get the opportunity to be an MC again. Unfortunately for NetEase, they weren't really able to get their money refunded because I was like, yo, I can't go at the last minute. So I hope that NetEase isn't pissed off at me, but I'm not trying to be prideful here, but I don't apologize. I had a real, I had medical needs. You guys know I'm a licensed healthcare practitioner. We all try to hide our mental health illnesses and the things that we got to deal with. And I'm sorry about the circumstances, but I'm not sorry about the choice. I needed to focus on my health and my well-being, and I feel fucking great. So, again, I hope NetEase can forgive me for that, but man, you got to take care of yourself. And that's exactly what I did, and I feel nice and refreshed. My booty's ready to jiggle. So we got a few things that we've been working on behind the scenes. We have some little projects that are coming out, that will be coming out that I have to resume within this weekend. And I'm actually going to do my best to actually rank the survivors based on which ones are the best in a numerical order. So given a survivor, the best survivor out of every survivor, the second best survivor out of every survivor, the third best, it goes beyond the tier list. And we have a methodology form that we can use, which I'm literally working on right now. So that's going to come out. Me and Grizzly are working on a little project together as well, which I'm very excited about. So we have a lot of data collection. I couldn't run this data before. I couldn't run the data because I was too busy working, and I get out of work, and then I'm not eating my dinner because I'm trying to rank in a fucking online game. And oh my god, these rank sessions are awful. So I'm going to go a step further than my character tier list. I'm so confident about my character tier list. The numbers are so confident in terms of our methodology that I'm going to go a step beyond that, and I'm going to rank each character by their individual score. And I'm going to show you guys how we're doing that methodology. And again, if somebody disagrees, I can say, sure, you can disagree, but the methodology, this is what we use, right? This is the way that we categorized it. And just because a certain character is better than another character in season 7 doesn't necessarily mean that would transpire to season 8. And I think people forget that data can change based on methodology and the evolution of how we compile these data and stats. I have a lot of fun doing these stats. I have a lot of fun coming out with tactical gameplay. People forgot that Team AO has never won a Northern American European tournament. They've never won, right? Back in the day, Team Boosted Clan won against what they used to be called as HM. So this is why it was kind of a big deal for Team AO, because they wanted to show, listen, hey, we're a good team in this Northern American server. You know what's even more scary? People don't know this, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just being objectively honest here. Team AO did not play their starting lineup. You guys did not see Team AO's main lineup. You didn't see their main team comp. You didn't see their main lineup. They actually did not play any of that. They played a little of it with character selection, but not the overall players. They didn't play their number one kite player on the team. So I was really excited to see how Team AO would do. We wanted to get experience for Duty. We wanted to get experience for Paul Blems. I want to say thank you to Paul Blems for joining AO as well. It's become like a little family, and we have a lot of fun within the clan and coming up with tactical things. And I know you guys want me to talk about Blood Queen. I see it all in the chat right now. So I'm not trying to ignore you all. So here's what I will tell you about Bloody Queen. So we know that Mad Eyes is being nerfed. We know that if I had to give Blood Queen an actual... Alright, if you guys want to know Blood Queen's initial tier before she was released, Blood Queen... So hear me out, because sometimes there's like this thing that happens where people hear something and then they don't let me finish and they jump down my throat. So don't be that sort of person, right? Because then you're going to become that Facebook scholar that goes to statistic123.com and then you copy and paste statistics into a argument and then you pretend you're a professional in something, right? Just hear me out. Hear me out, all right? Hear me out. When Blood Queen was first introduced to the test server, she was absolutely an S tier character. She was so ridiculously powered that the devs ended up nerfing her. Alright? And I said that in the initial Blood Queen video. I didn't say S tier specifically, but I said that she was too powerful. That I felt like the devs were eventually going to nerf her. And that's what we saw. We saw that she did get nerfed. Okay? So I said, just because I said the S tier doesn't mean I'm saying she's S tier, so don't jump down my throat. Alright? Now here's the thing. Please proceed with caution. Alright? Just to give you guys a history of the game, we thought that Geisha, when Geisha was first released, Geisha was an S tier character. When she was first released, she was an S tier character. Dream Witch was not an S tier character when she was first released, and Mad Eyes got nerfed before his... Actually, Mad Eyes got released, then nerfed before his official release. So, I just want to urge caution because you gotta give people time. It's too soon. You guys are jumping to these characters, and I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm just saying you guys gotta take your time a little bit. Slow down, all right? It's just slow down a little bit, okay? It's like you see a naked woman for the first time and you get so excited that it finishes before it begins. Okay, that was a bad joke. I shouldn't have said that. But fuck it, I've been going for a week. I don't care. All right, so slow it down a little bit. Pace yourself. All right? Don't be premature with these character tier lists. You're going to get a bad rep. Trust me, that word travels. Girls talk to each other. All right? Okay? So, in terms of the character tier list, all right, in terms of Blood Queen, she is good. But there's this it's like a pendulum, right? Where there's going to be a time where hunters have better tactics, and then there's going to be a time where survivors catch up and survivors have better tactics. And this is what happened with Dream Witch, where at one point we felt like the survivors were doing such a great job because there weren't no Dream Witches, and then really the Dream Witches came back. Same thing with Mad Eyes. Everyone thought Mad Eyes sucked, including this guy. And then Mad Eyes mains came back and was like, piss off. Right now, you have a pendulum where Blood Queen is doing pretty good. She's doing very good. So two things are going to happen. Well, three things. I don't want to dichotomize it. She either stays here, she either gets better, or survivors find a way to counter it. So just be careful with your character tier list if you're going to... It's great. You say I hypothesize. Because when you give her a tier, when you say she's A tier, when she's S tier, you're jumping to an overall conclusion. So how you say it actually matters. So I'm not against any of your tier list or whatever you're saying. Well, except if it's different from mine. But in terms of Bloody Queen, all right, just say, hey, I hypothesize she's going to be A tier. Or I think overall she's going to be an A tier character. We'll wait and see. It's just too soon. Too soon. We don't know if the devs are going to nerf her. I can tell you this much, though. If she was released the way that she initially was, she'd be an S tier character. She was ridiculous. The problem is that the survivors are going to complain whenever there's a hunter that they struggle against. So what the survivors will do is they say, we need to nerf the hunter, we need to nerf the hunter. And I don't understand that mindset. Like when I say a character is going to be nerfed upon release, it's because I understand how the community is going to react. And that's exactly what I said would happen with Blood Queen. In fact, no other YouTuber came out with that stuff first. When all the other people came out about the videos, it was after I showed my initial video, right? I even said it's going to probably get nerfed in the first video that I released of her, okay? I'm not saying that I wanted it nerfed. I just simply said I already know what the community is going to do. And it becomes this thing where I feel bad because people don't challenge themselves sometimes. Maybe I'm being a hypocrite because you guys know how I feel about Enchantress and Prospector. But I feel like it's a different chemical formula when you're talking about hunters. Instead of giving it 2 or 3 weeks or even a month to find a way to counter the hunter, it kind of becomes this thing where it's like we need to nerf him right away or nerf her right away. But I definitely think that I have done that before too as a player, so I am not putting myself in a separate category from the overall community. I'm as susceptible as anyone else. But I do believe that these hunters, I believe that they should come out and the overall community should have a consensus I think sometimes we balance them too much. But then again, maybe it's a good thing that we do this with the test server, especially with her. So I'm trying to check my opinion here, right? I've kind of looked back at some of my old stuff, and I don't want to jump to conclusions too early. It kind of pisses the community off, etc. So yeah, in terms of Blood Queen, though, what I can tell you is, let me look at her stats right here. Number one player in China. Let's see what we got here. Hold on. Just give me a second. We'll talk about this. So she's been barely out for what, like 2-3 weeks? There's already people who have over 11,000 points with her in ranked competitive mode. 11,000 in 2 weeks. That's insane. 2 weeks, guys. Hold on. How about we check? All right, hold on. You guys want? Oh my God! Don't tell me my client just crashed on me. Hold on. So if we look at some of the other hunters, right? Let's look at Lizard Man. Lizard Man's been out for a while. There's only 2 players in China that have more points than the number one Blood Queen, and Lizard's been out for like a month and a half, 2 months now. She's only been out for 2 weeks, man, and she's already got... Oh, let's see, X-Boy. Yeah, about 4 X-Boys that are not even necessarily higher than Blood Queen. She's going to be a dangerous hunter, I think. I think she's going to be a dangerous hunter. The problem is that, remember, the only difference between Blood Queen, the only difference between S tier and A tier is that usually it's what players prefer banning. So the only difference between, I wouldn't even really get too upset about putting Blood Queen between S tier and A tier, really, because the only big difference is which hunter has a little bit more of an advantage in the top hunter bracket that we see statistically banned more than any other hunter. That's really the only difference. That's why, like, Mad Eyes is in second, technically an A tier character, and Mad Eyes, the number 2 overall hunter in the world, is a Mad Eyes player. I think he had, I don't have the stats in front of me, but Mad Eyes has like 5 top 25 players in the overall world that uses Mad Eyes. He's still an A tier character based on how we used our methodology, right? You can disagree with the methodology, that's okay. But we still don't see Mad Eyes being successful in tournament and competitive gameplay. So, based on the stats, I'm telling you, I mean, you guys know that all I do is run stats, run numbers. That is an overwhelming number of points, but we don't know if she's going to be another Geisha. We don't know when Geisha first came out, this was the same exact thing that happened. Everybody started using her. She started doing a real good job. She was kicking everyone's ass, especially on the Northern American European server. And you gave us like a month. I have a video on YouTube if you guys go back. And I was like, is this a glitch or a bug? And it was when Geisha went through the pallet when I was looking at her. And she angled it because we didn't know. I still have the video. I never deleted it. So the thing is that with her, you got to give her a little bit of time. She's causing a lot of trouble. I already know that there's some survivors out there who say she's not that big of a deal. Maybe those survivors are correct, but based on the numbers, she's becoming a really big deal, at least for the top threshold of survivors. But we haven't really seen her flourish just yet within the top 20, top 30, top 40, which there is a big skill gap usually. But that's also not only skill gap, it's based on the amount of time you play. So with that being said, I think she's going to be very dangerous. She's going to be a very dangerous hunter. But please proceed with caution. Give it some time. That doesn't mean you'll be wrong. Make a hypothesis. And in a month and a half, we'll figure out what's going on. Give her a little bit of time. Yeah, so that's some of the things that we're going to be working on. I'm going to be working on some character tier guides. I'm not going to be playing the game too much because I'm going to be doing a lot of coaching with Team AO. As you guys know, Team AO is kind of like my family. And I have no problem helping people if they ask, as long as I'm free. Persuadable, did you see Blue Race Car's 4-man victory against AO? I did. I also saw AO make a huge mistake based on their owl, and that's I think the one of the first times I think I've ever seen AO been four-manned, and there were a few mistakes that AO did within that match, and I've talked to AO and I've talked to them about what they need to change within that tactic. AO, the survivors, you gotta half of their survivors are new to the team because some people can't play the game as much, or people have bad ping, so you have different players, so they have a lot of practice to do. They have to polish up their gameplay, but their survivors made some silly mistakes. In that, if you go back and you watch the footage, you'll see that their survivors made some silly mistakes, and they know that. But they're also not. They also didn't play their starting lineup. Blue did great. Blue is that sort of hunter where if you make mistakes on, he's going to capitalize on them. That's what you can expect from a top tier hunter such as Blue Racecar. He did a great job. So what we did too, it was when Blue Racecar was on Arms Factory, it was going towards the third round, and I told Team AO to do something, and I go, yo, I've known Blue for a very long time. I need you guys to do something. And I was sick. I was tired. But I was telling them, coaching them a little bit. And round 3 came up. It was the final round, and I was like, you need to do this. I got into the call on Discord, and I told them, you need to do this. I'm not going to tell you what I said, but I said, you need to do this. Do this. You guys will do just fine. And at first they were like, are you sure? And I was like, do this. Like, I'm telling you to do this. And that's what makes Team AO incredible, because anybody can be a coach, man. Anybody, as long as you know how to play the game and you know the tactics. But it takes your team to actually be able to execute them. That's what makes Team AO a remarkable group of people. And they followed it. They listened. They did exactly what I told them to. And we exploited that weakness, and their survivors were able to get a 3-person escape based on that tactic. So, dude, Team Astra, I've played with their players since like season 1 or 2. There was a couple of seasons where I didn't really play with them as much and stuff, but I have an incredible amount of love and respect for Team Astra. And I'm not even being political. I am so tired of trying to, suppress my opinions on YouTube to appease people, and I'm no longer going to do that. I'm going to start acting like how I was season 1 and be myself, and if people don't like that, then I just don't care anymore. It's just YouTube. I don't care. I want to be myself. But when I tell you that Team Astra, I really do like them. I like them as players. I was proud of them. They did very, very good. Their survivors, people are like, oh, Team Astra's survivors didn't do that good. Dude, they're facing Call Me Duty, who's probably the best hunter in the entire United States, Northern American region, which I've been saying for a long time. Their survivors are good survivors. I've played with them for a long time, and I was very impressed with Blue. I think that AO needs to polish up their survivor gameplay, and that first round should have been a tie at best, but they made several mistakes, and he capitalized on them, and I was proud of him. You should be able to look at other good players and be proud with how they play. And that's something that I have learned over the course of the 7 seasons within Identity 5. Instead of this bullshit like you have to tackle people down in order to make yourself good. I hate that mentality. I hate when people do that with Landland too, specifically. Oh, Landland's not that good. I kited her once for 5 ciphers. Who gives a damn? God, guys, you play as a hunter. You're going to have good games. You're going to have bad games. We've seen PPX have bad games in tournaments. It happens. You don't have to. That's when somebody's like, oh, Persuadable's not that good. He's tier 6. Well, when I play 5v5 against Joe with AO, how come we always winning? Relax. Calm down. You don't have to tell people they're bad just to make yourself seem good. Just let your own actions speak for themselves. All right. So, with that being said, I believe that your rank sessions are about to come on. I want you guys to not miss your rank session, I don't think. Yeah, there was actually an issue with the tournament. And what happened with the tournament, so there was this massive confusion where, because somebody just asked, was Roxanne supposed to play? There was this massive confusion where you have to pick your hunters and your survivors first. So you pick your survivors first, And then the hunters can see who the survivors are, and then you can pick yourself as a hunter. So what Team AO tried to do in the final round is they tried to get Rox into play. But then after the bans, so when they tried to get Rox into play, there was some confusion because they ended up telling the other team, and then the other team wanted to change their bans. And it was just this little bit of confusion, so we had to reselect everything, and that's why there was an intermission during that process. They gotta find something out. I feel like the devs, I feel like the tournament style gameplay, you should make it so you have no idea which hunter is coming out in the tournament, and that the characters are supposed to select their own. Because then you can allow teams to actually have two hunters who specialize with different characters. Instead of just because then if you send Roxanne out, people are going to know who he plays and they ban those characters. I think that there should be a cool way that the devs make it so each team actually has two real significantly different hunters, and you have to worry about that. I think that would be a cool way to make this even more strategizing for the tournament, but that's just my opinion. All right, what other questions do you guys have? It feels good to be back. Yeah, it feels good to be back. How have you been? I hope all is well. In regards to Landland, she was being insulted by someone on Schmitty's stream. I felt so bad for her. Yeah, but Landland, guys, Landland has been doing this for a while. She's probably dealt with garbage trolls online for a while now, you know. Just because Landland is a woman doesn't make her weak, right? She, not saying, by the way, not saying that you imply that. Landland knows how to deal with those sorts of people, you know. Landland knows how to deal with those sorts of people. She's been playing a long time. She's a great hunter. And she's a great hunter playing a character that's kind of awful, which makes her even more spectacular. So my premise is that if you're losing to her, then that's really bad, because not because she's a bad hunter, but she's playing a character that's not part of the meta right now. So she's a great hunter. She's been dealing with trolls for a long time. Everybody who's on YouTube deals with it for a long time. So I have faith that she's doing okay. Hey, what's going on, Joshua? I'm not streaming on Twitch right now, just YouTube. You're such a positive person. Keep up the great work, man. Hey, you're gonna start seeing the non-positive side of me when I tell people to stop being stupid. And I'm not being politically correct anymore on YouTube. You're about to see my aggressive side too. I'm so done with some people. Should Feaster get nerfed? No, he shouldn't get nerfed. Wu Chang is high B tier or low B tier? Probably high B tier. Probably high B tier. Could you review more of the tournament rounds? Yeah, we could review. I'm going to review the tournament round. So this is what I was talking about. There were people who were like, oh, don't review the tournament rounds because if you tell people what the players did wrong, it's like, yo, it's after the tournament. It's after the tournament. I'm definitely going to talk about what players did wrong. During the tournament, yeah, keep it a little positive. You know, don't shit on the survivors or the hunter if they're playing bad. You know, they don't need to hear that, but after the fact, after the tournament, we can look at the gameplay and we can analyze it and review it and kind of dissect it. Because what was sad about the tournament is that, not sad about the tournament, but what we saw there is that we didn't really see. So how we saw the last three, is it three? What was it? Team Mumu's team, Astra, and AO. I forgot who Team Mumu's team faced. But those three teams, that's how most Chinese, like the top Chinese teams play. But like 20 of them. So like the three that we saw, they got like 25, 30, 45 over there. So, and then what was happening low key is and it happened with Team Mayo as well, but you saw it like in the beginning rounds. You saw like everyone being like, "Oh, like that hunter is so good," but then like if you look at the gameplay, like the hunter knows what they're doing, which is really good. But some survivors made drastic mistakes, like drastic mistakes, and so then everyone's like, "Oh, that hunter did so good," and it's like the hunter moved his character. That's what happened, and the survivor just didn't. So there was some definitely, and it's hard to talk about this because you don't want to be negative either. But like I'm sitting there watching the beginning rounds of the tournaments like 3 weeks before I'm supposed to go out, and I'm like, these MCs are doing such a better job than me because I know that if I was an MC, I don't know how I don't know how I could have talked about some of the games. I'm being honest with you guys. I'm being honest because I'm sitting there and I'm like that, and that. Those were all such big drastic mistakes, and you don't want to sound like a dick as an MC, so you don't want to be like, oh, the survivor messed up. So you gotta be like, oh, excellent gameplay for the hunter, but all the hunter did was literally just run in a straight line and hit the survivor. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't. The MCs did a way better job than me. I'm sitting there, I'm like, there's no way I could. There's no way I would. So. And then that's when I was reflecting, and I had somebody who was like, "Oh, I saw one of your comments, and you said, because I at one of the matches I said, why aren't the survivors decoded? I was so confused." And one of the people messaged me and was like, try to keep it positive or something like that. And they were so right. They were right, but like at the same time, I wasn't wrong. I'm like, where's the decoded? You had a player that kited for like 120 seconds and you're still at 5 ciphers. What the hell is happening? Or there was one character on a specific team that kited for like 60 seconds. He gets on the rocket chair around 72 seconds in, and then I expect 3 ciphers to pop, and literally not a single cipher pops. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? And I give the MC so much credit because I know that if I was on that behind that desk, it would have been really hard for me to say that out loud. And what is happening? Everyone's trying their best, but there's people right now who are watching this who are like, we want you to analyze it because we want to know where players go wrong. So like where I'm at is, and maybe this is where I'm starting to have this like tiny threshold where you can't protect everybody. You have to just say certain things that, you can be polite and considerate, but try to keep it as objectively true as possible. And that's how players are going to get better. So I'm caught in this rift where it's like, oh, I want to be positive, but at the same time, some of these players are never going to learn. If I say, oh, the hunter did such a great job, but then the survivors are really like just doing really tiny things wrong, which is okay. It doesn't mean they're bad, but we're not saying, oh, the survivors are bad. Right? That's what happened in the first call of the BOOS tournament when somebody was like, oh, the survivor just gave up when the survivor disconnected. It's different. So I'm trying to learn how to get to this point where like I can objectively still say like this was a mistake, which is okay, mistakes happen, without shitting on people in the process of being like, oh, that was so bad. There's a way you can talk about these things. But like I'm looking at some of these plays and these basic mistakes, and I'm like, there's so many things that they could improve on. And my way of trying to help people is like, yo, I want to help them. Like, let me tell you what you did wrong. Yo, AO is going to deal with me every single day. I feel so bad for them. Because whenever we're playing, I'm like, because I'll be in voice chat with Duty as he's playing Hunter. And we'll play the same match like 50 times. And I'll be like, yo, Duty, try going this way this time. Nah, Duty, go this way. Duty, if you go to the corner over there, you got to be careful. Hey, Duty, how about you go? And Duty doesn't really need my help. He's a great hunter. But we've always worked well together. And if you ask Duty, he will tell you that he's improved based on me and his practices and whatnot. And that's what makes Duty so remarkable is that he's always willing to learn. I'm always willing to learn from him. But and I look at some of the gameplay and I'm like, I could help these players. I could help this team right now. If you give me 2 weeks with this team will perform so much better than what they did. And then it comes like, anyways, I'm sorry, guys. But yeah. Opinion on TC. TC did, I don't want to say TC did better than I thought. because TC has some pretty good players. I think TC got pretty far. I think that if they continue practicing and they take it seriously, you can tell that they're a new team. They're new to the competitive market. They're making mistakes that AO made a year ago. So they have some things that they need to address. I think that there are a bunch of good players, and I think that if they continue practicing every day, and if they really take a close look at what they're doing wrong, remember, every competitive team, they go through this process. So I was pretty impressed with Team TC, but I felt like they placed where I thought they would place. If you guys don't mind, I want to show you guys something. I just got this new Android phone, so you guys have to give me a second, because I don't know how it works yet. And you guys know me, I'm like a dad. So let me see if I can get this set up. Can you guys just give me a second? I want to try something here. So this is what I did actually. Let me see. So I don't have my game capture on. Let me see if this works just this one time. I want to show you guys something. Yeah, I like this Android way better. I just don't know how to use it. Alright, let me see the connections. How can I get this to work? Hold on, guys. Give me a second. I don't know how this works. Okay, I don't know how it works. I wanted to show you guys something. It would be pretty cool, but oh, that's why it's an AirPlay receiver. Okay. Well, anyways, what I wanted to try to attempt to show you guys is that before the final rounds happen, like before all four, as the YouTube and all that stuff was live, like way before the finals, I called it. I go, Team AO is gonna come in first. Astra's going to be defeated by them. It'll be probably a close match maybe, and then I said Team Mumu's team would come in second. I just wanted to show that game, that footage, because I called it during the live feed. But yeah, hold on. I'll have to figure this out. All right. Anyways, is there any more questions? So you guys are talking a lot about Enchantress. Enchantress stats are crazy right now. First of all, so I've been watching a lot of professional Chinese hunters lately, and I noticed that mostly first cipher pops on 3rd or 4th minute of a match. Can you please explain why? I don't know who you're watching. Be careful about watching YouTube videos because they only post their good matches. But that shouldn't be true because I watch top tier matches every night. And they're definitely, those top survivors are definitely getting those ciphers down ASAP. So it depends if they're going against a Mad Eyes or maybe even a Dream Witch. It depends. I have no thoughts on Gardener right now. I'm a returning player and was wondering what your thoughts are on Geisha. Geisha's B tier at best. Do you think the upcoming Geisha buff will make her a better hunter? It could. What do you think about Gardener? Yeah, I don't really have too many thoughts on Gardener yet. Like I said, I've been gone for the past week. I've been enjoying my life. Yeah, Axe Boy would be B tier based on the stats and the numbers as of now. So there's 3 stipulations with our stuff. If there is any hunter in B tier to make it an A tier, it would be Axe Boy. If there was any A tier hunter to make it into S tier, it would be Mad Eyes. For the survivors, I was trying to be fancy there, and I was gonna put up the survivor. Okay, damn it, I gotta manually do this. Okay, just give me a second. Let me put up the this I can do. We'll put the survivors up. So with the survivor tier list, and this is why I'm gonna be coming out with an actual ranking of each survivor. So like I'm gonna tell you who the #1 survivor is. We have a way to measure this. This isn't just me coming up with bullshit. I have a way to measure objectively. Like when you look at B tier, we can tell you if Embalmer is higher than Priestess, for instance, right? So it'll complement the character tier list. It won't replace it, right? B tier characters. Anyways, let me get back to my point. If there's any character to make it to from A tier to S tier, it would be Enchantress. If there's any B tier character to make it to A tier, I think objectively speaking, it might be Priestess. I can't remember on the top of my head, believe it or not. No, not that I can't remember it, believe it or not, in terms of the character. If there's any B tier character that would be C tier, I think it would most likely be... Alright, I'm not going to remember this stuff. Hold on, let me bring up the stats so I don't got to keep doing this off the top of my head. So based on what the stats are saying, and by the way, we got some great stats coming out soon that I'll be working on all day today. I'm actually very excited to be back. And I'll be trying to prioritize the YouTube videos in the sense of not to the point where I sacrifice my personal life. So, but I got to pace myself now because you guys saw what it's like to have burnout, and I don't want to have burnout again. So if there's any character that would technically for Survivor... Yeah, the closest would probably be Priestess. For that, I can look at the updated numbers right now. Let me see the updated numbers. I was just looking at the regular numbers. So if we look at let's see what Priestess is at. Yeah, so Priestess is also used by the #1 hunter and #1 survivor in China as a backup. So Shadow likes to still use Priestess as a backup. So she's more of a backup character, which means she'll never be S tier. But you see 12,000, 10,9. I mean, Shadow's just an animal, so let's see, who else were we looking at? I mean, if you technically look at the stats, Priestess is doing better than Magician. believe it or not. Um, but we still see magician utilized. So yeah, priestess would probably be the closest to A tier as a B tier character. And then the next one after that, believe it or not, let me see, because I forgot to write the number down. Let me see where first officer is at. Ooh, first officer is doing awful. Yeah, first officer definitely belongs in B tier. It's funny. I had somebody message me saying that he's an S tier character, but yet the best in China are still. There's a wildling that has more points. Wildlings have more points than him. Mind's Eye has more points than him. Priestess has more points than him. So I just want to see what Mind's Eye's numbers are at, because I know people were asking about her. I mean, you guys know that we have numerous ways of calculating all this stuff, but at least I'm not just throwing random characters into different names. 10-9, so she hasn't progressed at all. So she's almost at so the closest technically would be Priestess and Mind's Eye for a B character over into A tier. Somebody asked about Acrobat. Let's see what Acrobat is doing here. Oh, that's first officer. Here's Acrobat. 10,000. So I mean, there's even a case that might, Acrobat is kind of where he belongs in terms of probably more so on the bottom of A tier. Magician is probably Magician's a great character, but he's just not used as much anymore. So yeah, I mean, also people are tired of playing the same characters over and over. So yeah, lawyer is in last tier. Sorry guys, you guys know it too. Stop trolling. You want first officer in A. Well, show that first officer belongs in A, because the stats don't prove it. The stats actually show that his stats are for a B tier character. He's a hard B tier character. As in, like, if there's any character that belongs in a tier, it's him in B tier right now. What's going on, okay? Yeah, the Gardener buff, I don't know too much. I gotta play the Gardener buff. Do you think that splitting the tiers up into B plus and B minus, same for A tier, is more practical? It gets too confusing. It gets way too confusing. Remember that it's a category, so just because you have people in that category, lawyer is technically so bad compared to the other survivors. He gets his own damn category, so people are going to get mad at me for that. No thoughts on bartender yet. Is there someone in my chat? Okay, I thought I heard somebody talk on my mic. That was creepy. The geisha buff. Hopefully it works out well. They can come out with all these buffs, but until I play them to know how practical they are. But these are definitely something that I feel confident about. I'm going to get going soon so I can continue calculating the data. And by the way, when I calculate the data, it's going to be based on legendary rank mode only. It's not going to be based on tournament gameplay. It's going to be based on legendary rank only. So when I come out with the characters and their respective, number 1 hunter, number 2 hunter, it's going to only be for rank mode and legendary rank mode and the overall game. It's not going to include competition. Well, Acrobat, I felt Acrobat was going to be a B tier character. But he's playing like an A tier character. There's a good chance. Remember that we look at the data and what's practical for the data. So the problem with him, with Acrobat, is that technically there's no difference between a Priestess and a Mind's Eye with the best Acrobat. when we look at the data, the acrobat is no better. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. I'll give you I'll answer it. We'll find out together right now. Okay, hold on. Okay, I forgot what Mind's Eye was. So when we look at like the stats, the number one Mind's Eye is technically better in terms of overall stats than the number one Acrobat right now. There's problems with that, so that's not definitive. It's just a sub point. But there are more Acrobats it's hard to explain. All I can say is that Acrobat is on the cusp of B tier and A tier. We put him in A tier based on some of the numbers, but we don't know if he's going to stay there. We also know that he used to be mained by a top, the number 34 survivor on the Chinese server, and he was doing a really good job with them. Acrobat has a lot of potential, but the thing is that you got to ask yourself in terms of the overall composition, Acrobat will only really fruition, in my opinion. He's good on like Moonlit River, where he can go over the railings. When we look at Priestess, we see that Priestess, there's some players that are still better than Acrobat. So Acrobat has more players that are consistent, like 10, 10, 10, instead of 10, 9, 8, 7. But we'll have to see. That was just my opinion of him. He's still a relatively newly released character. Tell me, please, can a survivor kite to any hunter without time limits? Or is the game designed so sooner or later a hunter will catch up to the survivor anyway? Usually the hunter should be able to catch up to the survivor. This is my first live stream. Yo, am I on Discord or something? Yeah, I'm in a chat or something. I can hear you. Am I in one of my oh my god, I am. Who are you? X-Kinso. Dude, I didn't know I was on Discord at the same time. I could hear like little things in the background of your mic, and it was freaking me the hell out because I'm like, I'm not on Discord. There should be nobody in my ear. All right, that just scared the hell out of me. We're going to disconnect from Discord real quick. Who do you think is a better hunter persuade? Oh, I have the character tier list for you guys. What do you think of the Feaster rework? I think we'll have to wait. What about Prospector? What do you guys want to know about Prospector? It depends on the embalmer's strategy and the team he's playing with. Can I make a mercenary guide? Oh, we got a lot of projects coming up, and I'm going to be focusing on them instead of ranking, so. Alright, so I'm going to get going. I got stuff that I got to do. I don't want to be on stream too long. I'll talk to you guys soon. I have no idea when, but it will be soon, I promise you. Thank you guys for always being kind and supportive. Have a good day.